Hello there, so today we're going to be doing a first impression, and after I've worn it for a few days, I feel like, am I doing a review of the film It, which by the way, cannot wait to see. It looks great. Anyway, I'm back on track. Okay, so today I'm going to be testing out the new Healthy Skin Harmony Foundation from Max Factor. I believe that in the US, CoverGirl, which is, I believe CoverGirl is just like a different name for Max Factor in the US, and they have a foundation called the Healthy Skin Elixir, and I believe that this one is pretty much the same thing, but it's just the kind of UK Max Factor version. I don't know why they have to have like different names, different brand names and different names for their products. It's bizarre to me, but I purchased this from Boots. It came out last week and it was $13.99, which is just ridiculously expensive for a drugstore foundation. I remember when drugstore foundations used to be like £5-6. Nowadays, you know, you're lucky if you can get one for under £10. It's really kind of ridiculous. But I mean, at the end of the day, if it's good, then I suppose okay. I got this in the shade beige. This foundation comes in around 12 shades, which not great really. I think such a big brand like Max Factor should be able to have a more kind of wide shade range. If you look at Rihanna's new makeup line, which I'm sure if you watch YouTube, you've seen nothing but Fenty makeup videos in the past couple of days. With her new line of foundations, she's brought out 40 shades, which is amazing because it's so inclusive. Like, everyone will probably, I imagine, be able to find their perfect shade, unless, I don't know, you're a minion, or I don't know, Shrek wants to buy a foundation. He may struggle, but generally I think that that's wonderful, and it's putting all of these other huge brands that have been around for years and years to shame, in my opinion. If Rihanna can do that on a new line, then I do feel Max Factor, L'Oreal, Rimmel, Maybelline, those guys should also be giving us a huge shade range too. But anyway, I've just been ranting on for ages. I'm going to read you out the claims of the foundation, and then we're just going to get to applying it. I did also get a free beauty, I say free, they probably just costed this in to the $13.99 extravagant price for the foundation, but I did get a free beauty sponge with it, so I'm going to be using this today and testing it out. I don't know if you can buy this separately. I'm sure at some point you'll be able to. Okay, so it just says Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony Miracle Foundation. A multitasking product that will help you achieve a flawless and radiant healthy skin in one application. The new foundation is better for your skin than wearing no makeup at all. So I think that's like its main kind of theme is, you know, because the foundation apparently contains really good quality ingredients, it's actually doing your skin a favour. It's like the makeup equivalent of taking your skin to the gym for a workout and then treating it to a quinoa and kale salad for a post-workout snack. I don't know. And by the way, I don't believe that any foundation really would be better than just having like a naked face, unless it is infused with like such like good ingredients. But I don't know. Anyway, she's doubtful today. Just call me Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire. What? I don't know. Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony Miracle Foundation is a hybrid makeup with smart formula and intelligent ingredients, especially designed to adapt to internal and external skin stresses over the day. 24-hour hydration, SPF 20 and shine control to help protect skin from dryness, shine and sun exposure. Dryness, shine and sun exposure. Isn't shine and sun exposure like the same thing? Because shine, I imagine, is coming from the sun, which is in effect sun exposure. I don't understand that. Anyway, the foundation restores tired, stressed out skin. That's me. I mean, really, that is my skin. You've described it perfectly. And it improves skin condition. It doesn't say how it improves it, but apparently it magically improves skin condition. It just says blah, blah, blah. blah, blah, a bit more blah, blah, blah. And then it just says, yeah, apply just the usual blah, blah, blah. Apply it with your fingertips and blend and make sure you get your right shade. And make sure you've had breakfast in the morning to prepare you for the rest of the day. You know, just the regular kind of bump. Okay, dokie. So from the description, I'm thinking that maybe this is going to be more aimed towards drier skin people, just because it talks about being radiant and, you know, adding moisture for dry skin, or I'm paraphrasing, so I don't know. Did it say that? I have no idea. This is the packaging. It's a really expensive looking and feeling like this has got some serious weight to it. It's a glass bottle. It's quite thick, like the glass looks quite thick. It's got like little gold stripes on the lid, which I don't know, I just feel like it looks really expensive. Okay, but we're just going to go ahead with this. So as I said, I've got this in the shade beige. Pumpity pump pump pump. Wait, why is it not pumpity pump pump pump? Okay, pumpity pump 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 time. It's going to do it. Okay, here we go, guys. Oh, it's coming out. Okay, so it looks quite thick. The shade looks good, although a little bit tan, maybe tan. I could end up with like a nice tanned face, which I wouldn't be hating on that. Oh, guys, I completely forgot to wet my beauty sponge. I'm always forgetting to wet my beauty sponge. Okay, right, I've got to go wet it now. I mean, really, this is literally like the story of my life. I mean, really. Okay, so I just wet the sponge and I feel like it went huge. Like this just feels massive and it feels quite hard. Like it feels like it's got like something solid in the middle, like maybe like a ball in the middle that's just solid. As a backup, I've got my diamond sponge by Real Techniques because I love this one. And you can see I don't have much confidence in the Max Factor one. Just as a comparison, I did wet my beauty blender. And do you know what? Even though I thought this one was like massive, like the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, honeys. I mean, really. But you can see actually the Beauty Blender one is maybe a little bit bigger. The Beauty Blender is very squidgy. This one is not very squidgy. But anyway, it's not about the sponge really today. It's about the foundation. So we're just going to get straight on with this. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Is this going to match me? No. No, it's definitely not. It's going to look quite orange. But oh well, that was a fail and win. That's $13.99 down the drain. Oh my gosh. I wish I could say, oh yes, well, I'll be fake tanning tomorrow, so it will be fine. I don't fake tan. I will not be fake tanning tomorrow. This is an absolute disaster, really. Okay, so anyway, right, I don't know if I've applied too much. That's what everybody says. Oh my gosh, I've applied way too much. So I'm just going to go in with the sponge. Oh my gosh, it sounds hollow. This sponge is identical to the L'Oreal sponge, you know, the black one. Literally identical, but it doesn't have the flat bit on it. It's just got that, like, when you bash your face with it. I mean, bash, that sounds a bit violent. But it sounds hollow. Can you hear? It just sounds hollow to me. Also, if you're new to my channel, I do have oily skin and I am struggling at the moment with breakouts, as you can probably see. My skin is just doing my head in at the moment. It's doing my fecking head in. And yes, I said fecking, not the other F word, which is very naughty. But anyway. Okay, so this seems to be going on really nicely. It didn't give any indication as to what the coverage would be in the description, but I mean, I would say it's probably not even a medium. I mean, I feel like if I maybe apply just a little bit more, could I build it up to a medium? I don't know. Or maybe it's just kind of the sponge, which isn't really doing much. I feel like this is going to be soaking up a lot of the product. I mean, it's going on nicely and it's got a really beautiful smell to it. It smells like quite floral, I would say, which is actually really, really nice. It's actually looking surprisingly like matte. It's not looking as radiant as I thought, but look, oh my gosh, it is so not the right match for me. I am seriously going to have to be bronzing the life out of my neck later, but it doesn't seem to have given me like that much coverage. If you kind of look, you can still see redness, you can kind of see everything, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I feel like on the other side I'm going to go in with a brush. I'll just finish off my forehead, but yeah, I want to give it a little bit more of a opportunity to shine and like actually cover stuff. you know, because this girl has a lot to cover. So that's just like one layer. This is the side without the foundation, and then this is the side with the foundation. I mean, it's definitely made my skin look better, but it's not provided any coverage. I'd probably say it's like a very light coverage. It also looks like it's potentially oxidizing a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a brush next. So I'll just plop a little bit on there. Now, okay, so this is definitely giving us a lot more in the way of a coverage. If I just apply a little bit more to my hand, because I don't feel like a little goes a long way. I felt like the amount that I initially put on my hand was quite a generous helping, you know. But anyway, I'm just plopping it all on. Plop, plop, plop. I would definitely say a brush is the way forward with this foundation, especially if you do have a lot you want to cover up. Look, the difference is just incomparable. I mean, really, it's incomparable. I'm not disliking it. It's not kind of blowing my socks off right now. Okay, so if you can see the difference between the side applied with a brush and then the side applied with the beauty blender, it's worlds apart. So I'm just going to go over the beauty blended side with the brush, and instantly you can see it really does pack a lot more punch. I tend to prefer beauty sponges to apply my foundation. However, I am not kind of opposed to a brush if the foundation calls for it. Okay, so I have finished off. I feel like I've got the coverage that I would want. It does look quite heavy, particularly just like, you know, around my eyebrows. I don't know if you can see that. And also on my chin, it's really accentuating like the texture that I've got there. And I definitely do feel like the shade is too kind of warm tone for me. But I'm just going to go in an effort to maybe just make it a little bit more even. I'm just going in because it does look a little bit streaky around my nose. So I'm just kind of finessing it with the beauty sponge a little bit. Okay, so I think that's like how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go away, I'm going to powder this, and then if you have not seen any of my kind of first impression foundation testing out videos before, I will be wearing this for the next few days just so that I can really test it out. I think that a first impression, oh, I've got really itchy something on my face. I do feel like first impressions can be a bit deceiving, because in the past I've done like a first impression and I've loved the foundation and then I've gone on to like hate the foundation. So I do believe that testing it out over the course for a few days is like the best way to do it. So next time you see me, I will be giving you all of my thoughts on the foundation. Just one other point before I go. This hasn't really oxidized. Can you see it on my hand? Like you can really see there how much it's not the right shade for my skin, and on my face I feel like I'm just getting kind of oranger by the second. No offense to people out there who are beige, I'm not saying you're orange, it's just on me. That's kind of the route I'm going right now. Anyway, I shall see you soon. Hello there. So I have my thoughts together about the Healthy Skin Harmony, otherwise known as HSH foundation for Max Factor. I've been wearing this for the last 3 days. So I've worn it to the office, I've worn it to the park, I've worn it to the sex club. I mean, I'm joking. I don't go to a sex club, I mean really. But anyway, if I did go to a sex club, I definitely would have worn it there too. And I am very pleased to report that I really love the foundation. The only obvious problem here is the shade, which seems to be getting more orange by the hour. It's not terrible. I've been able to use a outrageous amount of bronzer to kind of, you know, blend it down into my neck. So I've actually been going around looking like I've got some bomb ass, you know, tan on my neck the last few days, which has been fabulous. So yeah, the shade is completely wrong. But I mean, that was my mistake. I am going to be repurchasing this. in my correct shade, which won't be beige. Here's a tip: don't go beige if you're fair. I recently went beige with the Maybelline Superstay foundation, and that worked out for me. It was fine, but Max Factor beige is a completely different level of beige apparently. So this foundation copes really, really well with my oily skin, providing that I set it. And also I've been just adding a spritz of Max Fix Plus just to give it that little bit of a helping hand, because this foundation is designed and formulated for individuals with dry skin. I have oily skin, so I am not dry, but this foundation works really, really well. I don't have to like constantly keep powdering. It will last me all day. At this point I've had it on for 7 hours. I had an issue with my car. I've been in a hot garage with like fumes flying everywhere, and there's not much more I can say about the garage. It was totally boring at the garage. They've got nothing fun to look at, just tires, some screws. I mean, it was boring being at the garage. This foundation feels really comfortable on the skin even after many hours of wear. It just feels like you've not really got anything on. It applies really nicely. I'd say it definitely is more of a radiant finish, but it's not super dewy. Like when I think of the word radiant, it makes me think of like dewy and glowy. This one is a little bit more of a natural radiance. It actually sets down pretty quickly on my skin, and I do have a highlight on, and I've also, you know, got a glowy blush on as well, but kind of on my forehead you can see the light is kind of reflecting off my face. So if you want to see the finish of it, just check out my forehead right now. I mean, there it is. This is my forehead's big moment in life. There we go. Take center stage. Enjoy it, forehead. You've earned this. Anyway, so I would definitely recommend this foundation for all skin types. I would say give it a go. If you've got oily skin, just be sure to set it down like the bad boy that it is, you know. Keep him in order. Put a leash on him, step on his balls, you know, anything you need to do to keep this foundation in place. You do it, girlfriend, you do it. I think that the price is definitely expensive, and it's not expensive for the formula, because I actually think it's a really good formula, but it's expensive for drugstore. I mean, how much higher are they going to go? Are we going to be paying like £50 for Max Factor foundation in 3 years time? Probably, with the way inflation is going. I do think it's expensive, but I only think it's expensive because it's Max Factor. If this was made by, say, number 7, I probably wouldn't think it was expensive. Does that make any sense whatsoever? But do you know what I mean? I think just because we know Max Factor, and if you're in the US, you know CoverGirl for being a more affordable, like drugstore style brand. So I do think that they are, you know, probably, I don't know, they're probably just improving their formulations, therefore they've got to raise their price. Rip us all off. I mean, no, they're not ripping us off, but I don't know. I believe that drugstore brands should remain drugstore, because what are we going to have left if all drugstore brands start just inflating their prices so much? What will we have left? I mean, we've got Makeup Revolution, but AliExpress, that's what we'll have. We'll have AliExpress, which, no disrespect to AliExpress, I love AliExpress, but that's what we're going to be left with. I mean, really. Also, I think this foundation would be really complimentary on more mature skin tones. If you suffer with like texture on your skin, so if you've got acne, if you've got pores, fine lines, I think this would be a really complimentary foundation to go for. If you apply it with a brush, you definitely do get more coverage, but then that's the case with any foundation. My preference is a sponge to sponge, just because I love a sponge to sponge. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. Sponge, beauty blender sponge. All the foundation upon my face. SpongeBob SquarePants. I just dot it on and he spreads it around. Anyway, what damn, I've been watching too much SpongeBob with the boys. Also, just one last point, it's irrelevant, but I think the packaging is just exquisite. Like, this really has some weight to it. Jeffree Star would definitely approve of this. He would say, oh my gosh, it feels expensive, baby. What would he say? He'd say, work that. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's a great foundation. I would definitely recommend it to you. The only thing I'm just a little bit sad about is that I selected the shade beige. And when I look at my face, all I see is orange. And believe me, it's not really showing up how orange I am right now. But anyway, take my word for it. She is seriously looking orangey right now. Just call me Orange Ann Wen. Orange Wen. Anonge. Anyway, I'm going. Okay, she's going. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you're having a great day. I will be back soon with more more Delio. Anyway, right, going. Right, see you later.